3, 2, 1. Some say that a podcast is a reverberating melding of the mind so intricate that not even God himself can swallow it. Well, I'm here to tell God to his stupid face that I'm not just a swallower, I'm a believer. A believer that if we don't make love to our sweet Lady Earth, then we'll surely see all of the bees leave her. I'm a believer in life. And what's life without Sardonicast? Hey, everybody. I met him from Humor
They don't
Sucks.
stop. We got to do the whole cast like that. All of us.
Frittata!
I didn't get the reference. What is that a reference to?
Yeah, what are you talking about? You sound like a maniac.
I don't know. It's this it's a little indie show. It's lesser known. Not many people have seen
Game
it.
of Thrones?
Yeah. Who are you
The
guys?
ending was weird, wasn't it?
Oh, I'm Ralph from Ralph the Movie Maker. YouTube.com/Ralph the Movie Maker.
And I'm Alex from Man Boy Man.
Sorry, what is this?
You don't know Man Boy Man?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Damn.
Alex, explain.
It was my original channel I made in 2010.
Nice.
Where I just uploaded these awful skits, and then now I just do my music on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fans know. They
All
know.
right. I guess I'm not a real fan then.
Yeah. Get on it. Steve and me. Minion one.
Oh. Yeah. I got 3 hours sleep. Wrote that thing on the plane ride over here. And about to fly to France tomorrow for Cannes. So I'll be...
Very nice.
Yep. It's,
Did you have a good time though, despite
yes,
the tiredness?
I did. Yes, I was
Awesome.
just at a furry convention in Reno. It was lots of fun. I want to know what you guys think happens at furry conventions.
You guys just hang out, right?
Do you
Yeah, for
drink?
the most part. Yeah.
Party?
Well, I mean, this one's at a hotel casino resort sort of thing. So obviously
Oh,
there's
nice.
lots of drinking, gambling, whatever, but they also have panels and, a dealer's den, artist alley dances, and there was karaoke and shit. Lots of varied stuff going on. It's just
Yeah, it's
What
just
are
a
the
bunch of
panels
people hanging
about?
out.
What do they talk
I don't,
about at the panels?
You can kind of... The furry community is weird in the sense that, pretty much anybody can get a panel if they try, if they really want to. So I looked in the schedule. I didn't wind up going to any specific panels. I just saw, my friends play, a concert and stuff at the con, just, a bunch of the larger stuff that I was interested in. But I didn't go into any of the small panels. One of them was furries who love In-N-Out Burger. And I was
very specific.
debating going to that one, but I didn't wind up doing it. I had a pretty full
Yeah,
schedule.
you should have.
I know, right? There's so many weird ones like that, depending on the con. And obviously, if it's a smaller one, then you get literally anybody making a panel on anything. So
That's hilarious.
yeah,
What is In-N-Out Burger, by the way?
it's an American thing.
What? Yeah, it's like a fast food chain. I guess it
They
makes
don't
sense.
have them in Canada either, and I still haven't been. Wait, actually, no. I had my first one earlier in the year, and it was really good.
Is it good? Oh, it's good.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's actually
It's
great
like Wendy's
for
or
the price.
McDonald's.
It's if you try to go to one in California, there'll be a lineup around the block at every location at every time of day,
Really?
sort of thing.
It's always packed, yeah. They usually got people outside to take your order.
It met my hopes and expectations. Now I'm just really, really tired. Nothing to do with In-N-Out Burger anymore, but it was
You
a
guys are spoiled over there.
fun con. Yeah,
We
America
got lots
is
of fast food.
yeah, it's like the consumerist's dream, but only if
Exactly.
you have
That's why I love it here.
money. I guess not even. Even relatively poor people
No.
can still consume everything they want because everything's so cheap.
Yeah.
And you just
McDonald's burgers are $2.
your food isn't real. You put
Damn.
dye in your spinach and shit. I
But it
got
tastes
some
good.
spinach so I could make sandwiches during the con. Just spinach and some meat and whatever. There's definitely dye in that spinach. My poop was green. I was like, this isn't real. This is weird. And everybody in my room said the same thing because we all ate those sandwiches. In Canada, it doesn't do that.
You just ate spinach together.
Well, no, I mean,
No.
spinach was one of the ingredients. But this was like the entire, like, it wasn't just like, oh, chunks of spinach in the toilet. It was like the entire water of the toilet was like green dye. Anyway.
What
Sucks
fast food
anyway.
chains do you guys have, like, over in your countries? You have Wendy's and McDonald's and Burger King, right?
Yeah, we've had those for
I
a
don't
long
have
time.
Wendy's.
You don't have Wendy's. Okay. That makes sense.
We recently got some Carl's Jr. I don't think
Okay.
we have Jack in the Box. The past few years, we got Five Guys. And then
Five Guys is good.
You guys don't have, like, A&W restaurants, though, right?
Not really.
No.
Like, it
You have, like, a
depends where
couple
you are, too. Like, on
locations.
the East Coast, there's no In-N-Out. There's no Jack in the Box. That's all on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Are there,
Yeah,
like,
basically none
Canada
of
exclusive
those.
ones and UK exclusive ones that I haven't heard of?
Well, I mean, everything that becomes that successful in Canada winds up getting bought by an American company anyway. And so then it winds up going into America in some places. But A&W seems to be still pretty good
Yeah.
for what it is. Excuse me.
Have you guys got Wagamama?
Whoa.
You're
I
just
haven't heard of
making
that.
up words.
Is it good? Wagamama.
You're just making up
Wagamama,
words
yeah, it's great.
that sound stupid
delicious,
and
that one.
British. That's not real.
It's not even like British cuisine. It's like Asian stuff.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
That's what we got. You got your Five Guys, and actually there are Five Guys in London. I've just never been to one.
Oh, you should totally go. They're good. Although they might
yeah?
be different by you. Like the McDonald's,
Yeah.
depending on where you are in the world, is different. Like McDonald's
I've
in,
heard
I don't
that.
know, India or whatever, they serve totally different shit. It's pretty interesting.
Alex, are you a vegetarian?
McDonald's is the worst. I used to be.
Okay. I don't know where I heard
For like
that.
the last
but-
few years I was. No,
Okay.
What happened?
I recently just started eating chicken again. That's
Oh.
all.
Yeah, chicken's
Yeah.
not bad. Like, really, red meat you should stay away from.
Yeah.
Because
I was just missing like a lean meat. It was driving
Yeah.
me crazy after a while.
Yeah.
And I feel like I could slaughter a chicken. I feel like I could do that.
Yeah, chickens are dumb. Cows and pigs are like smart, you know? They're like kind of like dogs, basically.
Yeah, I
but
don't
we
think
just
I
eat
could kill
them.
a pig. Or a cow.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. Too much of a baby.
Chickens don't even like really die when you cut their head off. They run around for a bunch. They're so dumb they don't need their heads.
Also, there used to be dinosaurs once as well, so we need
Oh
to
yeah,
kind of
take that.
keep putting them down. Yeah. Look, we eat you now.
Look how the tables
out
have
of here.
turned. Ugh. So apparently,
You sound like you're in pain.
oh yeah, I am, and I'm about to be in a hell of a lot more pain. I'm like, this is just the beginning of my next like few weeks. So
Damn.
we'll see how it goes. But I've just there's just way too much shit going on at once. When I get to Cannes, I'm arriving. Theoretically, my flight is arriving like an hour and 40 minutes before the office closes for the day, where I can get my badge. And so that I figured, like, okay, it's like a 30-minute drive. I won't take any checked baggage. I'll just hop in a cab and it'll be fine. But now I'm finding out that one of the shows that I requested, because some of the shows you have to request tickets for, it's the new Dolan movie the next morning at 8:30 a.m. I need to pick up my ticket for that an hour before the office closes for the badges. So meaning I have literally 40 minutes to get there. So I'll be
Oh,
basically hopping out of my plane, and then hopefully I have like some friends that are going there that are going to find out this information before I get there. Like, hopefully maybe I could just pick up the ticket that I requested before I get my badge and just show my ID or something, and like the email I got. I don't know, because if I have to get my badge first and there's a line there, I might be screwed. But worst case scenario, I just wake up super, super early the next day and try to get the rush tickets. So this is all happening very soon, and I'm...
Yeah, good luck.
Sounds
man.
very stressful. Yeah.
Oh, man, you have no idea. But I've done this before. I've done a lot of... I'm a trooper, so... Game of Thrones was a thing. I don't
Yeah.
care.
It was.
I don't watch it.
Well, you said before you don't really like it.
It was boring.
You've tried watching it, right?
I watched the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I don't care about anybody, and nothing's happened. So, sorry. And now that everybody hates it, I'm
Alex and I
like, okay,
watched
well,
those.
I made the right choice.
Yeah. We've seen all of it, obviously, now.
How'd you feel about it, Alex, first? Because I have no idea what you feel about it.
About just the ending or the whole last season as a whole?
Well, I guess, first of all, the whole
Spoiler
series
warning
as a
or no?
whole, and then more specifically, spoiler warning, absolutely.
Okay,
I feel
fine.
like everyone who's ever going to watch Game of Thrones has already watched it,
Yeah.
though.
I don't care about
yeah.
spoilers. Please spoil me. I don't give a shit.
Right. I know you're not going to watch it, especially now. But, like, as a series as a whole, I thought the whole thing was great. I'm sure you agree, Alex.
Wait,
up
I'm
till
getting confused
recently.
about season and series again now.
Oh, yeah, because
Oh,
your words
no.
are different. I mean, let's say seasons 1 to 6, I think, are pretty fantastic. 5 and
So
6
you mean
have
like the
their
show
issues.
overall, kind of?
Yeah, the show overall is quite good. It's just lately they've had to rush everything to a conclusion, and everything is very bad because of that.
It's a weird one because it's not like a lot of the characters and where they end up I particularly have a problem with. It's just it doesn't feel earned a
It's
lot
just
of the
how they
time
got
because it is so
there.
rushed.
Yeah.
No, like this latest season, it's only 6 episodes, which apparently the showrunners insisted on for some reason.
And last
HBO,
season was
they would have
7.
been throwing money. Yeah, no, but they would have thrown infinite amounts of money just to get more episodes, so people wouldn't drop their subscription to HBO Go or whatever it is. But it really hurt the show. It feels like the showrunners didn't want to be making it anymore, and that comes across in the show because everything's rushed. The payoffs aren't earned. Things just kind of happen, and then they're not developed.
The characters are
weird.
very inconsistent from previous seasons. Like, I didn't like what they did with Jaime at all. And there's a scene where he's with Tyrion, and he's like, the innocents of King's Landing never really cared much for them. But the whole season 3, he was talking about how he killed the Mad King to save all the innocent people at King's Landing. It's so, like, they didn't even watch or remember all that shit they had set up.
Well, it's weird. Like, I was thinking about it earlier. It kind of started to really fall apart after that Night King death, that whole episode.
Yeah.
Because they were building up for so long, literally over seasons. Well, since the first episode, really. The whole Winter is Coming thing. It was all completely linked to the Night King.
It's the first scene of the entire series.
Exactly, yeah. So it was a weird choice to go out the way they did with that. They made it feel like all of that time spent on it was for nothing. Like, there wasn't a reveal, there wasn't like a bunch of heavy losses or anything. In fact, the plot armor in that episode in particular was really frustrating to me.
Jaime and Brienne were like pinned against a wall the entire
They died
episode.
like 7
They were
times. I
fucking
was like, oh,
screaming
they're
at the
dead.
top of their lungs. Sam, like there's a crowd of zombies around him and he's fine. It makes no sense.
It seems like they just wanted, they went for visuals first. They were like, let's plan out this cool looking scene. And then afterwards they're like, oh, actually, this kind of doesn't make much sense. Like with
That's like 100% the strengths of the show, or the visuals and the sound and all of that. Like, all of the crew is really talented and the actors are really talented. They're just working with this material that sucks.
Yeah.
There was no like further information for us to learn about the White Walkers for like the rest. Like, since I think Hardhome, we haven't learned anything new about them. And like at this very end part, they just fight these guys and then they die and that's it. It's very unsatisfying.
Yeah, and you're just left wondering what the point of it was.
Adam, I bet you're very confused about all this shit.
I'm like, I've heard a bit about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. The winner of the Game of Thrones was George R.R. Martin, right? Everybody else loses, the audience.
Technically, yeah.
Everybody else involved, but he walks away with a bunch of cash, right? I think that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm, that's true.
Well, and everyone's going to be like, I'm going to read the book now, so I'll be satisfied.
That's true.
Yeah, I want to
bought
get the
book
real
right
ending.
after this latest episode. Yeah, that's what I said.
That's so
I
funny.
went to the bookstore and I told the girl, I want to see what actually happens. So can you give me all the books? She's like, sure. And the books aren't even out yet. You know,
they're not even
he's
finished.
been writing Wins a Winner for
He's
10 years or something.
years old, and he's a large
very
man.
old.
He's gonna die. Are the
concerning,
books
isn't it?
going to get finished?
I think they will. If not by him, then by a staff of writers who know what's going to happen. He has everything laid out.
Isn't that kind of the show? Is a staff of writers?
Yeah. Well, no, the difference is the show is they had to rush it because they had 2 years to make this season alone. 2 years to write and produce and shoot and edit all of this. Each episode's like 90 minutes long. This is like epic shit. It's very hard, and it's clear that they had no time to finish the story.
No. All the like elements they put in between the plot points they were clearly given are so rushed and make no sense that it really doesn't feel like something you'd write.
There's a character called Jon Snow, Adam, who's resurrected in season 6.
Resurrected? Like
and they
actually resurrected? He's a zombie?
Yeah, like from the dead.
Yeah. Okay.
But the Lord of Light brought him back to life.
That's
he
the
comes
guy
back
from,
like normal Jon Snow.
That's the guy from Silent Hill Revelations, right?
Yeah.
Kit Harington. Yeah. But they just never really explain why he was brought back to life. You can assume it's for like some reason, because he does a few important things, but they never say specifically. There's no resolution to that.
It seemed like it was going to be a Gandalf situation where he was brought back for a purpose, and then once the purpose was fulfilled, then he'd kind of have to go back or something. But no, he's just alive now.
They never even mention it.
Here's a question.
Very odd.
Would you, knowing how the whole thing ends and how the show eventually turns out, would you still recommend the show to people? And if so, would you recommend the whole thing, or is there a point where they should just stop watching? Like, would you even recommend that someone starts it knowing how shitty it gets?
It doesn't even get shitty. It's just the writing falls apart.
It's like unsatisfying.
But like all of this other stuff is still there. And there's still like character stuff within it because these actors are so good. That's really good. Like Jamie and Brienne were very well handled for the most part, except for the end, like Jamie's conclusion. But they had a nice bond this season. And there's still moments that make it worth it. And the first 6 seasons are so great, but yeah, you're right. It's hard to recommend to people knowing where it's going.
That sucks. It's like trying to recommend Dexter or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with Dexter, you can just say stop watching after season 4, pretty much.
Right.
But with this, it's more complicated because it's kind of the whole point of the story was the conclusion. It was always like who's going to get the throne, who's going to win.
Yeah.
That's kind of the draw and the hook of the show. So
and a lot of the show is very like miserable and sad. So you want to see these people like rise up and redeem themselves or, avenge their family. And so when you get there, you're like, it kind of sucked, but at least I got some resolution.
Yeah. So it's like blue balling you for a while and you finally get it and it's just not that great.
Yeah, it's just not that great.
Ralph, what did you feel about the ending being so kind of clean cut? All the characters, it's quite a happy ending, all things considered.
It's very
besides
bittersweet.
The Danny thing. It just, I don't know. I was sat there waiting for the whole time to kind of be surprised in some way, because that was always what made Game of Thrones so good early on. Was the kind of the subversion of the normal fantasy tropes, like the main character dying, like in the 6th or 7th episode in the first season. It's like, oh, that really throws you off. So I thought they were going to, they had a few more surprises left, but you're just sat there waiting for some kind of reveal or for some surprise or for it to not just be like a typical kind of Hollywood fantasy summary. But that's what it was. All the main characters, they went through some hard times, but in the end, they all had happy endings. And
it ended like Lord of the Rings, basically.
Yeah, which is weird because I always thought, what's the writer called again?
George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, I thought his whole idea was that he didn't like how Lord of the Rings ended, so he wanted to write his own like fantasy world where it wasn't so clean cut and dry. But that is, basically. But it's just kind of become that, which is ironic.
Well, he wanted to create like a more morally gray world, a fantasy world, and I love that about it. But the conclusion is I guess it's bittersweet, and it's okay to be bittersweet. But some of the conclusions were very unearned. Like, Bran actually becoming the king, he hasn't done anything really this whole series. Like, people have been guiding him along. You don't see him at all in season 5, and he comes back in season 6. It's this guy is the king? Jon Snow has fought so hard to be the king. Not that he should be, but Bran was just, he didn't struggle that much. He didn't earn it.
Well, also he has no character, really. We're not shown how he really deserves that power or anything of that level. It's really odd.
That's what happens in the book, so I guess it makes sense, but on a story level and a character level, I didn't feel that character earned it.
was like they didn't know what to do with him after a certain point. So he just sat there being this wise, detached kind of wizard who like knows everything in the past, and he just kind of is smug.
Same way, I feel that way about all of them, really. Like Arya and Sansa have given very little to do these past few seasons.
That's why I found it odd that they didn't kill a few of them off when it mattered and would have actually helped the tension.
Yeah.
Like, would it really have messed up the end that much not to not have some of those major characters? And it would have increased the kind of tension in, those big sequences.
Yeah.
Instead
There's
of
just
giving
so
them a
much
plot
wrong with
armor.
it. There's a lot of videos like how to fix Game of Thrones and how to rewrite it. I don't know, like, I can't get behind that because this is the story and this is just the way it's going to happen in the books too. It's just the journey there and the execution of it was so rushed and inconsistent with
You
what
didn't
I've
sign
come
the
to
petition?
expect.
You didn't sign the
I did sign the
million
petition.
plus petition?
I did sign that.
No, this is the most controversial thing in like nerd culture since The Last Jedi. It's like identical. It's just as hated. It's got like nearly the lowest last episode of a season like rating ever on IMDb.
Yeah.
It's nearly overtaken Dexter, which to me is a bit crazy. But
I've seen 0 positive things being said about this, and it's all over my Twitter feed, so I kind of get
I've
the
been
impression
looking
that
for positive
everybody
things for
hates
my
it.
video.
well, the biggest
You're right.
positive is just the production of it all. Like that's consistently impressive. It's better than a lot of
Right.
fantasy movies.
Except for coffee cups and water bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are little things. Like
I know.
overall,
It's-
like
it's
the
just
CGI
funny.
is amazing. And- yeah, it is. It's funny. Like this whole cast, they've been like half of these casts. They're so young. They've been on the show like half their lives, and
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
just they throw it away with this dumb script.
But I don't know why. Like everyone's just saying, yeah, they just wanted it to be over so badly so they could go work on Star Wars.
Just pass it off to someone else.
Yeah, why?
Let that. Do
Why
it.
did HBO let it happen? Why? Surely it's in their best interest to. If they could have got 2 more seasons out of it, which they easily could have. It's not. It's not like a typical TV show where they're just trying to stretch it out and wear it thin just because people
there's
are still
tons of
watching.
material there.
Yeah, there's
George
so
R. R.
much
Martin
to
said
work
the
with.
show could be 12 seasons long. That said his minimum. That's what he said.
Yeah, which is nuts. Because like even this last season, because it's 6 episodes, and the first 3 are dedicated to one conflict, and then the next 2 are dedicated to a completely removed different conflict, and then the last episode is a different conflict. Like that all could have been developed and all been given basically an entire season to make it feel more earned, instead of the weird like Anakin Skywalker kind of flick switch the
Right.
main villain goes through in the last few episodes,
And
which
there's
is a
so
shame
much
because it would have been
wasted
so
time.
effective. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
You
so
can
many
see.
episodes last season, like that Beyond the Wall episode. It was totally pointless, and it ended up serving no function in the story. And there's so many characters and things like that could have been cut out or shortened and made more time to develop Daenerys' descent into madness or something.
Like
Anything.
that bear.
Like the bear, the zombie polar bear, that they insisted on putting in the show for so long.
Why did they make such a big deal out of like the Ice King, full stop, but also him like defeating a dragon, but then bringing it back for it to basically do nothing and then just die?
Yeah.
It's just such a waste of time. It's so strange. Just the whole Ice King thing in general, I think, was the moment people were like, "What? What?
Yeah.
You don't do that. You don't set up like a big villain and then just get rid of them without any explanation. Like what? over seasons, like tens of hours of like setup for this impending doom that is the thrust of the show.
They set up the
entire
season
sequences.
before that if you stab one White Walker, all the undead people they possess die with them. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. So they're just going to stab the Night King, and then the whole army's going to die right behind him, and that's going to be the end of it. And that's what happened. It was so bad. It was like the end
It's
of
like-
Avengers.
Or the Phantom Menace with the droids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just when you write yourself into a corner, you have to be like, oh, the army can all be defeated by one central hive mind taking them all down. Easy.
Why
There you go.
not?
And the thing
That
is,
solves the
Game of
problem.
Thrones wasn't even about this bullshit in the beginning. It wasn't about battles or zombies or anything. It was about just really great, smart characters working out this political conflict. They all want to be king, and they use sex and money and power to get what they want. It's so clever. And now it's just dumb fighting.
It became
That's what
too
it's
big for its
become.
own britches.
It did.
It really shows how, and the rule applies to basically any story ever told, is that they are always better when they're planned out. Like Breaking Bad, for example, or Mr. Robot's heading that way, where there's like one visionary who has a story planned out. So they don't wind up writing themselves into a corner and then having to pull out these stupid tricks to try and convince the audience of like, this is earned. Look, this is where this character's going, and that's how it should go. It always falls flat on its face. Look at Dexter, look at The Walking Dead, look at The Office. Like countless shows, when they're stretched too thin, they always fall flat on their face in that same way.
Incompetent showrunners. They were good at adapting his material, but when they were left to come up with their own stuff, they just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Do you think the show would have been significantly better if the books were all complete then?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it would too. I think it would just be fine.
But then we'd have to wait another 12 years or however long.
Yeah,
you know,
the
I understand
characters
why they
would
wanted to make
age
this show when they
very
did.
weirdly.
Yeah. Or even just not make the show and don't make season 1 until all the books are out. But that would be 20 years from now. So
they're probably hoping for like a Harry
trade-off.
Potter situation where the writer would be like, oh, I can make this work for me if I put out the books a bit quicker now.
Yeah, George doesn't
then
do
the
that.
George
you
isn't
can
that kind of writer. Yeah, he has some integrity. You know, he wants them to be good. I understand why he's taking his time. He's a writer.
Well,
He doesn't
now
give a
he's
fuck.
like, he's not even really putting his full commitments onto finishing Game of Thrones. He's working on a game with From Software now.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Damn. That's nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is cool.
Although they make games pretty fast, so who knows?
He's helped write other books too, like Game of Thrones lore-related books. Like there's a history book on the world of Westeros. He helped write that. There's all this other stuff that takes up his time. He wrote some of the Game of Thrones episodes even, which are some of the best episodes.
Really?
Yeah. And
I wish he
Why
was
not?
more involved with the production,
Yeah. I see. I
with the
wish
story
he
and the
was.
writing. Oh
Oh
well.
well.
Oh, well.
The most frustrating part are the moments of brilliance where you can see, oh, this would be so satisfying if it was earned. Like, I think
Yeah.
Dany, like, being the ultimate evil is kind of perfect. It makes
Yeah.
perfect sense, but not within the rushed way that they told it. Like,
I
that whole
totally agree
setup
with
of the whole city filled with the innocents, it just doesn't really make sense for her to just slaughter them when she'd won. She'd already won the battle.
And her character is so opposed to doing that. And it doesn't make any sense for her strategically to do that. The only thing I
No.
could believe is that she just had a complete break, like a mental break with reality. And that wasn't conveyed well. It's
No.
just a very confusing choice. And that's why everyone's arguing about her motivations, because it wasn't clear.
Yeah, there was the foreshadowing and all that, but it's not enough. Like
Yeah,
the way
it's
you
not
do
character
it,
development.
yeah, it's so many characters they had to juggle. Like with Breaking Bad, they had their central like two main characters. So Walter White's whole journey is so intimate and personal. You're kind of with him the whole way, even when
And
he
it's
is doing
gradual.
evil things. Yeah, exactly. It's a slow character build. It doesn't really feel that way with her.
No, not at all. They could have spent a whole season defeating the Night King, and then a whole season of Daenerys going insane.
Well, yeah, because another
Which is what it
issue
should
we
have
haven't even
been.
brought
10
up is
episodes of
that
that.
the last two seasons are so dependent on Jon Snow and Daenerys' relationship. They're supposed to
Which
be
is
in love,
awful.
but you don't buy it for a second. It's like the prequel. It's not as bad as the prequels, but it's that thing where every character's just saying, "Oh, they're so in love. I see the way you look at her. Yeah, you really care about each other, don't you?" And then you see them in scenes interacting, and there's like no passion there, and you don't really see their relationship develop. And you're just like,
I don't
what?
get what they like about each other.
Yeah.
They never even say what they like about each other.
Because it was rushed. It was all for like,
Yeah. Is it because it's pretty? She's pretty? Is it the
Yeah.
sex? Like, what is it?
it was really clumsy. And especially the whole reveal thing of Jon Snow being like a Targaryen.
Yeah,
Like, ultimately, that was nothing but a plot device, really.
right. It was only
Just to
there
put
to make her
tension.
go crazy. It ended up serving no function in the story aside from that, which was nuts. I thought that's like the biggest twist of the show. And
Yeah.
it is almost irrelevant.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Very
Oh
clumsy.
boy.
Very clumsy. And this is just fresh thoughts as well. By the time people hear this, it'll be a few weeks since the finale aired. So this
Yeah.
is kind of our initial thoughts. This was
I'll have
without
my hour and a
even-
half video out on it.
We're recording this
Yeah.
episode early.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I'm sure this debate will rage on for years and years to come.
Yeah. There will be like a backlash of people defending it. Going like, oh, there's actually good things. Actually, the character choices
anybody
do make
defending
sense.
it.
Not yet, but it will happen.
All right.
I've seen some. It's like, yeah. It's that frustrating thing where there are kind of cool things here and there that do make sense and are in line with the characters.
Worth it.
But the cast is so huge. There's so many characters to wrap up that for every good one, there's one that's also flustered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very frustrating.
What would you give the series finale out of 10?
Oof. I'd say, like, as a show as a whole, I'd give the whole thing 4 out of 5 stars.
Okay.
This season and last season, I would give 2 out of 5.
Wow.
And, like, everything else is 5 out of 5.
Okay.
I think, for me, that's the best I can rate it. I think it's such horseshit what they did, but at least they concluded it. It's over.
Yay, it's over.
That's your praise. It's over.
It's over.
That's the end.
You don't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know how to rate it, to be honest. Might need a bit more time to think on that. Because I can rate episode by episode, but I don't know about the whole show. I was never really bored. I found it pretty interesting for the most part, but...
What about the final episode, then?
Okay, the very final episode out of 10.
If you want.
Right down the middle. I guess a 5. It wasn't like the worst
Mm-hmm.
episode. It definitely could have been worse. It's not the worst episode, like the worst finale of a show ever. It definitely could have been way worse. But
Yeah.
it also was kind of slow, and there was this weird hollow feeling where it's like, I know this is the end, and normally when something I care about is ending, there's kind of an emotional response, but it was more just matter of fact, and this is what's happening now. Okay.
Yeah, it's over.
That's unfortunate.
Because you had no emotional connection to them anymore, because it didn't feel like the same characters.
Yeah, it was just going for something that didn't seem very Game of Thronesy to me.
It's very hollow. The whole thing was very hollow. Like, what was the point of the show, even?
That's why I kind of liked the possibility of Dany, like, killing everyone and winning. Like, to me, that would have been quite a good through line, and would have made a good point about how her whole plight was ultimately pointless because she lost everything she ever cared about. That would have been like a solid full stop at the end.
Poetic, at least.
Yeah, it's way more open in the one they went through, because like there are even rumors of like spin-off shows with Arya and stuff, because she's out exploring the unknown wilds and stuff, and it's like,
they want to do more Game of Thrones shows and prequels and whatever.
Yeah, ugh. Why can't it just be?
No, nothing can just be. You gotta beat it into the ground.
Gotta sell more pop vinyls. Need more characters.
Yeah. Thank you for enduring this conversation, Adam.
No problem. No problem at all. I've had plenty of movie conversations with you guys where one other person was left out because they hadn't seen it. So.
Yeah, it's still interesting to listen to.
Is it?
Whether it's Pokemon or this. Yeah, I enjoyed you talking about Pokemon.
Okay,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, people really didn't respond well to my review. I don't think I said anything that crazy.
Oh yeah, and that was it's Pokemon, man. If it was Shark Tale,
it's a surprise.
No one cares.
It's a big surprise. I didn't
Is
I
it
didn't
though?
think. Well,
90s
I
kids, man,
mean,
they're
the
passionate.
amount of dislikes on that video is pretty unnatural. You know, it's not like the most I've ever gotten on a video. It's not like the most subscribers I've lost in a day or anything. But it was like, really, Pokemon, like Detective Pikachu, this movie.
But it's
Of all
like
things.
what I don't understand is like if they've been a long time subscriber of yours because they've watched your videos and have a general idea of the kind of films you like and your opinions on things, why is it even remotely surprising that you wouldn't like a pandering piece of shit film like Detective Pikachu? Do you know what I mean?
I mean, who knows where the dislikes came from? Who knows how many of them were people that are regular watchers or just passing by?
Yeah,
you know?
it might have just been post around or something. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I feel like some people feel as though I've attacked their identity by not liking Detective Pikachu. It kind of feels like that.
That only, yeah. It just highlights how childish that is, though. Like, come on. You can criticize things that you like. It's okay. I like Pokemon too, but I just don't like the movie because it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Pokemon.
Bunch of babies.
Yeah. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah,
Of course.
of course.
But the dislike button, is it a disagree button? I guess
Yes.
many would say it is.
Yeah, it kind of
So
is.
I want you to die button. I hope you burn button.
You're canceled button. Speaking
Oh,
of
dear.
things that were canceled, my recommendation, I guess it had 2 seasons, so I'm assuming it was
Was it
canceled.
canceled?
I don't know. It might have just stopped. It might have gotten I don't know.
Yeah. Some shows just end because they run out of stuff to do. I can see this concept running thin. Like, oh, we
who knows?
kind
Feel
of
quite
did everything
complete.
we needed to.
The recommendation from last episode that I recommended is a television show from Adult Swim, from the studio or people production company PFFR, who have made many great classics. Their most notable being Wonder Chosen, which a lot of people have watched, and I would highly recommend. This one I also love. It is a story about life and a mythical beast man with a snake hand and backwards knees who makes a lot of puns and does constant quippy wordplay so fast that you might miss half of the jokes on any given episode.
For sure.
And yeah, it's what did you guys think? I'm obviously I like it. But...
Yeah, I mean, I can't judge it seriously because the whole thing is like it's like a joke, but it's so funny.
Yeah,
It's genuinely hilarious, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it.
I'm glad.
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was really
Awesome. Because I was
fucking loved
worried
it.
if it is the type of thing you don't like, me recommending like the whole 2 seasons, and it's basically
Yeah,
like,
that's
I
the
mean, it's
thing.
fairly repetitive. I just needed something that I could like watch in my hotel room and not commit like a solid, full viewing for. I could like watch a couple episodes,
Yeah.
go do the con stuff, and come back.
Well, I sat and watched all of them in their entirety, paying attention. I only watched the entirety of the first season. I only saw a few episodes of the second season.
Sure.
So I'll say that right off the bat.
Okay.
But
Okay. Well, I watched season 1 in one day, and then the next day I watched season 2. And
Okay.
it's intense to watch every episode
Yeah.
in like of a season in a single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's brilliant, but it is like a bit of an overload at points.
It's not the way
You're
it's
just
meant to be watched, I don't
bombarded.
think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's
just
meant
a
to be watched like
bombardment.
one at a time when you're high, like in the middle of the night, which is why it's on Adult Swim, right?
Exactly. This was
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
generation of Adult Swim back in like 2007.
Exactly.
There were a lot of really, really weird shows just made to trip people out as they're flipping through channels high in the middle of the night.
Right.
Like, what the fuck is this? And then they'll stay on the channel.
Exactly.
And then that was
It
their
worked.
business model.
But Ralph, you said you couldn't really take it seriously.
Well, because the animation is bad and the voice acting is bad, and I wouldn't say bad. The dialogue makes no sense. It's all, yeah. It's just a joke. The whole thing is just a joke.
I mean, if you watch
It's all
it,
of that makes it funny.
yeah, it's certainly ironic, right? It's certainly like the animation
Yeah.
being bad adds to the experience, right?
Exactly. I wouldn't have it any other way.
But I mean, like, there's a decent amount of like interesting concepts and commentaries going on in the show, even though at first glance it might not seem as though like anything interesting or important is being said, and it's all just gibberish, right?
Yeah.
There's like weird philosophy going on. There's like the Christian Scientist doctor who prays for God
Right.
to
Yeah, I got
perform
quite a lot out of
specific
it in
surgeries.
terms of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like
Oh,
they're
yeah. It's
really good at that
exploring
kind of
like
thing.
these philosophical concepts in the most ridiculous, absurd way possible. But yeah. I didn't find it profound. I just thought it was all hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a hilarious way of exploring these topics.
I wouldn't really call it profound either, but it is nice that it does have some substance to it. It is nice that it's not just lol random like Robot Chicken or whatever.
Sure, you're right about that.
Yeah, it's that anti-humor. The type of jokes that they go for, they're like rooted in this kind of... The writers clearly have an idea of like tropey stories and what you'd usually expect to happen. So you just can't guess anything that they're going to say.
Yeah.
Because it's just so left field. Every single punchline, and 9 out of 10 times they do land. But
yeah,
it takes a couple episodes to kind of get used to it because the pace is just nuts. The episodes are really short. They're only 10, 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
So from beginning to end, it is just non-stop talking, basically.
Yeah. Bam,
non-stop
bam,
quips,
bam,
non-stop
bam.
jokes. Yeah, loads of music, loads of like crazy editing and sound effects, trippy imagery, like psychedelic imagery. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It is one of those shows that I like to show other people if they've never seen it, especially. It's like the perfect thing to put on for like drunk people. But
It is.
I mean, drunk or not, it's still a great show. And I love how clever the wordplay is. And that's pretty much the whole show, is like wordplay. Wordplay the show. And it never stops. And it's always going.
Yeah.
I'm a survivor. We're a dying breed. And it happens, they're already on to the next line, and it happens so fast that you could maybe miss that there was a joke there. You know, there's so many of them. This is probably like the 5th time I've seen the show, and I just have like this gigantic page of notes where like half of them are just quotes, but many of them are ones that I never got the joke before, or like didn't notice the joke before, sort of thing. And I mean, as with a lot of movies that I've recommended, I do love that sort of thing, being able to have value from repeat viewings.
That's perfect for this.
So Ralph, you missed if you didn't watch very far into season 2, you missed a very interesting episode where they basically held a contest for people who are fans of the show to create their own Xavier Renegade Angel little short films. And you can actually access the contest page on adultswim.com by using the Wayback Machine. So if you do like a Google search, you'll find somebody linked it on a Reddit post in the Adult Swim subreddit. And they actually gave the character models free to download and a bunch of resources and like sound effects and music and all that, so that people could create their own animations. And a lot of people that wound up doing the contest, some of them would do live action and dress up as him. Others were different forms of animation. So these assets weren't even necessarily used by everybody. Yeah. And what wound up happening is like they edited all of these together. Not all of them. Like some people made the show and others were runners-ups or whatever. But they edited this episode together in a way that like still feels genuine to what the show is. Like if you were to tell me that there was never a contest and they just made the whole thing, I would have believed it. Because it works so well in what it is. I think that's super cool that they did that. And I'm trying to think of another show that would do a thing like that. But PFFR, they've got unbridled creativity and they always wind up doing things that are just like so weird and different. Like no matter what they create, it's like, wow, I've never seen this before. And it's very interesting to watch.
Yeah, that's what got me about it, was let alone the wordplay and the constant dialogue, but it's just the out there stories that would tickle me the most. Like some of them are just so... I was trying to explain some to my brother when I saw him today. I was like, yeah, there's this really weird episode where he turns himself inside out and he makes a friend with someone when he's inside out, but then he has another friend that thinks he's a different person when he's inside out, so then he goes back to being normal, and then he has to like go between them.
The plots are so ridiculous, you don't know where it's going. So
it's
you're
hilarious.
Just compelled the entire time. Like when the computer virus gets in the lake because they throw a computer in there, and then everyone starts turning into fucking like 8-bit people. So he like, I forgot what the fuck he did, but he gave like some potion to a guy and he died.
It was AIDS. He got AIDS from the government.
AIDS.
Liquid
he got
AIDS.
AIDS from the government to cure everyone of the computer virus.
It's
absurd,
number one.
but it's so
Its number
funny.
one rule is that it has no rules, so it stays interesting all the time.
Yeah.
Because the main character's like this total dumbass who thinks he's this like spiritual, religious, like important figure going around helping people, like he's Jesus or something. But he's such a buffoon. Like there's that episode where he finds those babies in the
That's my
play
favorite
area
one.
and kidnaps them. That's one of my favorite ones as well.
Yeah.
Or the one with the handicapped kid, where he's like trying to defend the handicapped kid, but every time he does, he's like insulting him and like making his life worse. That's the thing too. The show has a very, I'd say, offensive sense of humor. Like they make fun of everybody from fucking Mexicans to handicapped people.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, and I don't know how anyone could take it seriously.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
they say a lot of like really edgy shit that perhaps. I almost said perhaps today it wouldn't work, but they've said a lot of edgy shit in their new show, which just came out this last year too, The Shivering Truth. So I guess they're just still getting away with it. But I mean, as long as it's funny and as long as the butt of the joke, you could have a joke where its humor is found in the idea of like, oh, was that a racist joke? As long as the humor isn't like, oh, black people suck or something. That's not like the actual intent of the joke. It's just to say something that will be kind of shocking or just bizarre, or like, wow, did they just say that?
It doesn't really come across as nasty.
The tone of the whole thing is so absurd. It's not meant to be taken seriously.
And I was paying attention to this, keeping it in mind while watching through the show in its entirety. And from what I can tell, I mean, the demographic that they poke the most fun at is Southern Americans. So
yeah,
the like pregnant,
or just religion in general, it's just a constant through line.
Christians. Especially.
They make fun of everybody, too.
Yeah.
There's no, like, discrimination. Everyone gets shit on by this guy.
It's like the South Park rules.
Character.
Exactly.
No one is safe.
No one's off limits.
One of my favorite lines from the show, when they resurrect the dead cowboy burial ground to battle the resurrected Indians from the burial ground. And then one of the cowboys, as they're slaughtering the Indians, yells, "Jihad!" And just that one line, there is so much to interpret from it. There is so much to interpret from it, like commentary-wise, politically, and like the parallels between, white America basically, exterminating a population and, America's obsession with like actual, I guess, more Muslim-oriented jihadists or whatever. And it's like drawing these parallels, and it's just a single line, and after that, they've moved on and they're doing something else. But there's so much to interpret from like every little moment. Not every moment. Some of it is just kind of random and dumb. But there are definitely moments that shine.
Yeah, they clearly put thought into this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's what stops it from being irritating.
Yeah.
Like, it's not Family Guy where it's just the cutaway gags that have no relation to anything. Episodes do have setups and punchlines and normally like a consistent theme or like idea that they stick to, which keeps it interesting each time. And it does stop it from being really irritating, because it could be. At points, it did kind of annoy me on some of the weaker episodes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, I've watched loads of these in a row now. You can kind of get the structure they go with and the repetitive kind of nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
But as we say, just watching it all in one big burst probably isn't the best idea unless you're really, really high.
Oops. What was your... Do you have, like... So, Alex, you said that one of your favorites was the sixth teat of Good Intentions. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, an actual, like, top favorite? Also, Ralph?
I'm torn between the episode where he tries to be normal. I think that's a really funny episode. Going normal.
Yeah.
That's a great one. We just
There's
keep putting
layers
new
to it.
people's like skin on. Or I really like the last episode of season 1 where he has that ridiculous like showdown with himself.
Oh, that whole sequence is so good.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the longest
amazing.
sequences in the entire show, that where it stays on one thing for a while, but it does it so well. Like, it's so unexpected that it's like, oh wow, this whatever the instrument they said is called, like Shakashuri Showdown or something. Just like playing the flute against each other and manipulating the fabric of time and reality. It's very funny. There's
Really
so,
trippy sequence,
so many
yeah.
really cool visual things going on too. Despite its low quality animation,
Yeah.
like whenever they do something animated, not all of their shows are animated, but whenever they do, they really make sure to use animation to its fullest potential in terms of like what crazy thing could we possibly show that we probably couldn't show if we were trying to do it live action. And I love that they do that.
Exactly. Very creative. One of my favorite ones, probably Chief Beef Loco, with like the gang.
Oh yeah.
There's like this whole part. They have like a therapy meeting.
Yeah.
Like they're all talking about their insecurities.
Oh, like the Mexican
like that
gang.
part was
I
fucking
secretly
hilarious.
groom and train poodles. I do it while your backs are
I
turned.
just love that whole thing.
Yeah. There's one of the lines I have written down for that episode. Friday night is Taco Tuesday. How about instead of eating tacos, we just talk? Oh. Some of the puns are so dumb, but they're so good at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like
'Cause
they
don't
have
linger on
no
anything.
shame.
It's quick.
Yeah.
No, the pacing is so quick, and there's so many jokes in these episodes. I bet there's a few I missed, and if I watch them again,
Guaranteed.
I'd probably find.
Guaranteed.
You've seen it 5 times, you would know,
Yeah,
right?
like
You've watched
every
it
single
multiple
episode,
times.
there's so much to pick up from.
Yeah.
One of the things that PFFR likes to do is so they certain of their shows have DVD releases. This being one of them, and I have the DVDs. And so obviously, if Adult Swim is going to tell them, hey, you should record some commentary tracks for the DVD releases, they basically just use those as an excuse to troll. So they don't even record them themselves. They'll always get somebody else. So in Wonder Chosen, they just got some random guy who played the sun for like 2 seconds to record the whole commentary track. And then like in
That's amazing.
Xavier, they made this like almost like online internet video essay kind of parody where they just got I don't know who this guy is, some random guy to basically analyze the entire first episode in a way that makes it seem a lot more purposeful and clever and significant than it is, but it's so convincing that you, as you're watching this commentary track, you're wondering like, was all of this subtext and symbolism intended from the start, or did they make it up as they went along for this commentary track? And the entire time, I swear to God, they like added extra noises of like this guy's like lip smacking, like dry mouth kind of thing as he's doing the whole thing. And just this very soft spoken voice, like trying to seem purposeful and talking about like Xavier is
That's
actually
hilarious.
one thing that you might understand if you watch the show is he's actually an unreliable narrator. And this can be seen in episodes such as blah, 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 and blah, 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 where we don't really understand if what he's showing in his past is true. And it's the entire thing. It's so funny that they do that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I just remembered on the DVD for Wonder Chosen, one of them, season 1 or 2, I don't remember. They basically, Wonder Chosen is like a parody of children's entertainment, but very, very not appropriate for children, obviously. And they created some like fun maze game or whatever, like or code thing on the back of one of the DVDs. And then if you solve the puzzle and then just click it in the DVD menu, it's like, oh, you won the prize. And then it plays this like never-ending constant zoom in like this on some of the characters' faces as they're like screaming, and you can't shut it off. And they removed the feature. They basically made it so that on the disc you can't like stop or go back to the menu, and it goes on for like an hour or some shit. And it's like you get dizzy watching it. It's like the most irritating and like nauseating thing ever. But it's so funny that they did that just to fuck with people. I love them.
Yeah. The whole show is like that in a sense. It's just fucking with you.
Yeah, I love that kind of humor. Any favorite like line or quote from the film?
I don't know. There's so many. The taco one. Most of my favorite quotes are from that part. Just that one therapy scene.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I when I sat down to start watching this, I had my laptop open, ready to type notes. And after the first episode, I was just like, just closed my laptop and was like, I'm going to let this wash over me. I didn't feel like even typing notes is going to assist me
because you
at
can miss
all
something.
with this. I just want to absorb this and see what I think.
Yeah.
So every episode is. I don't think there's a single episode that doesn't have at least one line, you could say, is like,
Yeah. For
that's
sure.
funny. That's funny as hell.
Yeah, I'll just read a couple of my notes here from moments that I really
please
loved
do.
about the show.
Yeah, remind me.
when
Jog my memory.
when Mr. Shiny dies in the lava, like T2 style or whatever, and he repents at the last moment, like, I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. Yes, made it. And then just like, and again, like it's such a funny, dumb, quick thing, but like it is making a statement on, it's making a statement on religious people especially.
Yeah.
There's in the 16 of good intentions where the woman lost her babies and he doesn't realize that he's stolen them. I've got septuplets myself. Good thing I'm a responsible parent. You should try it sometime. Slap.
Yeah.
That moment was awesome. There's blip, 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 blip. Oh yeah, I love the audio clip that they keep reusing of take that, psh, taste the pain. And it's just like the first time it happens, it's like nothing. It's like, oh, what's that? But then it happens for like the 6th time, and it's funny every time because it's so stupid.
Oh, I thought of one.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Of course, the intro to each episode is like a different spin on the same idea.
Mm-hmm.
But the last episode of season 1, he's like doing his normal spiel, but then he just like breaks down and starts just saying like more nonsense than he's ever said before. Like it's I couldn't even do an impression because it's absolute garbage. It's so funny. It's like just completely incomprehensible.
There's when the two Xaviers are about to do their showdown, he says, "Look at you. You're so superficial. You probably judge things by their physical appearance." That one's kind of funny. I love the that basically most of this episode is like commentary on not that episode, but another episode is like commentary on prescription medication abuse in America.
Mm-hmm.
and one of the lines like, "I don't believe in pills," and they say, "Here, there's a pill for that too." And then later, "Don't worry, they're spiritually based drugs."
Oh yeah, with the like the like monks humming into it.
Yeah. It keeps going. It keeps going with a concept and is like, we're gonna make it even crazier.
Well, there's that crazy scene with the like devil on the shoulder, and then the devil on the shoulder has a devil on the shoulder, and it just keeps going and going and going until there's that huge line of devils on the shoulder, and it just goes up and down with the different quippy dialogue. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
One of the jokes that I didn't get until this viewing was they had that the guy was using like hurricanes, like mini hurricanes, like tornadoes or whatever. He was capturing wind for his wind farm, and basically this parallel of like African American slavery. And then when Xavier frees the wind and they start to revolt, he says, "It's an uprising. We have to suppress revolutionary movements," which both of those lines apply to political uprising and political revolutionary movements, and both of those lines also describe the wind powers of these mini tornadoes. And I'm like, holy crap, that's kind of clever, but it goes by so fast that you might not realize there was a joke there until the 5th time you've watched it, because it's said in the exact same tone as any other line too.
Just what they call those wind things.
Oh God! Yeah,
it's kind of racist, but it's funny as hell. Though.
Yeah. As long
Who's
as
the
it's
voice
funny.
actor who plays Xavier?
I think that's
I thought he
Vernon
did a great
Chapman.
job. He did a fucking fantastic job.
He does a lot of voices in the other shows, and he has a couple in Wonder shows, and he basically narrates the new show, The Shivering Truth, and then The Heart She Holler is like pretty much all live action, so he wasn't really in that, I don't think. But yeah, definitely check out all their shit. They're all very entertaining and special in their own way. They're all fucking crazy. Would recommend. And Wonder Showzen's the most popular, I think, so maybe start with that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. I still got to finish the season 2 of this.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
What would you give this show out of 10?
It defies rating.
I know, right?
I don't know. I think something that defies rating.
Yeah.
There are some 10 out of 10 episodes.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's hard to assess the whole show.
Yeah.
Do you think one of the seasons is better than the other?
I don't know. They're both kind of special. I've seen season 1 more times, not for any particular reason other than like sometimes I'll start from the beginning with a friend and then not finish it because they've left to do something else and then start it again with another friend or something later down the line. So most of my like classic episodes are in season 1, and then season 2.
Okay.
I got more out of this time because there was more left for me to discover, I guess, if that makes sense, because I hadn't seen them as many times.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know if there is a better season. But when I rate television shows, at least on IMDb, I kind of go for just like the best parts of the shows and kind of ignore the parts that weren't so great. So like Simpsons, I'm not when I rate that on IMDb, I'm not judging it based on like everything past season 10, you know? I'm like,
yeah, sure.
The show that I
That's
like.
the hard
and I'm
thing
not
about
gonna,
rating TV.
Yeah, I'm not going to rate
like, that's
every
why I like
individual
rating
episode.
the seasons. Yeah, like I would only rate season 1 because I haven't seen much of season 2, and I can't rate the show as a whole because I haven't seen season 2. Yeah, it's rough. Our job is so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 4 out of 5 for season 1. That's what I would give it.
Dang, son. I gave it a 10 on IMDb. Realistically,
Nice.
I mean, if it was me trying to be a bit more objective about it and not just like, oh, I love so many episodes so much that I want to make its rating higher on this website, I'd probably say an 8 for the whole thing for what it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. I think I'd give it the same, to be honest. But I think it's going to be something I'm going to revisit a fair few times, especially some of those better episodes.
Yeah, and I'll be watching it with a more like analytical lens, like you have, Adam. I didn't take it seriously at all while I was watching it. I was just fucking laughing and enjoying it. But now I will try to delve into the social, political commentary it has.
It's kind of difficult
more subtle.
If you haven't seen them a couple times already. Because it just goes so fast that it's like you don't really have time.
I was just trying to keep up with the plot.
Yeah,
right? The plots were fucking insane. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very glad that both of you enjoyed it. Because otherwise it would have been hell for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I enjoyed it too. At first I was like, oh no. Oh no. What's happening? What's happening right now? But once you kind of figure out what it's going for, there's just something endlessly fascinating about something so out there, so strange, that for me, a lot of the time I wasn't even laughing. I was just fascinated by the process that must have gone into making something like this a reality. I think it's actually harder to make something like this than you probably give credit to.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not easy to make something like this because it is really strange, and to make it work the way it does is a feat in its own right.
Yeah, I agree. Question time?
Sure.
Question time. That's the name of the segment. Let's do this. Do you want me to mention that? Because we're going to miss like a whole question thread, aren't we?
Are we still using the last week's?
Yeah, there's not been a new one, obviously.
Oopsie.
Oh, let me post it. Yeah, I was going to post it after this. Let me post it now.
So that one will be
because it's the day of. It's the day of.
Yeah, so why don't you mark this as the next episode? Because we're recording this a week early, so we literally just published the last episode.
I've still got plenty of questions, but it's just from the one we did the last episode.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
So let's do that then.
Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, we didn't even think about that.
Okay, let's do some questions from Reddit. If you want to leave your own questions for us to answer, head over to the Sardonicast subreddit, where Ralph will leave a thread, and you can ask anything you like. Let's start off with one from... Oh dear, this is a good start. I didn't note the name down. It was the most upvoted comment as well. What is your parents' opinion on your channels, and do they watch your content? I'll find his name while you guys answer.
Ralph. Oh, okay. Sure, I'll go.
First.
Well, they watch it. I don't know if they watch every single video. I think they kind of like binge watch. Like, they don't keep up as soon as they post something, but then like if they've if they're just like winding down on a Friday night and have nothing to do, they'll be like, let's see all the videos that we missed from Adam. And yeah, I mean, they seem to enjoy it. I don't really think it's something that they would seek out if it wasn't their son creating the content. Maybe not necessarily because like they wouldn't like it, but because I think older people have a tougher time figuring out how to discover things online like YouTube, which is why a lot of old people are cable subscribers. And like Netflix is a new thing that old people are able to get into now, but it also holds your hand and recommends you things. Whereas YouTube, there's so much on the platform that like I could see it being very intimidating for older people. So yeah, they watch my content, they enjoy it, I guess. But
I'm very much the same way as you. They probably wouldn't watch my stuff if not for the fact that I'm their kid. But my mom really enjoys it, and my dad's watched a few videos. He's like, yeah, very good. Proud of you, son. My mom doesn't like the cursing, but I don't care.
Yeah. I was just gonna yell, "Fuck her!"
And my brother listens to this show every week.
Yeah, my brother listens to this show every week too.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, your brother's gonna come on one day. We're hoping
at some point.
That would be fun. Yeah.
Right now we're just way too busy to coordinate that.
At the end of every Sardonicast, Mike is like, "Oh, Adam, I don't get his opinion. What he said, he loved Avengers, but he gave it a 6 out of 10." He's basically like those people who play the. It's funny though.
He's one of them.
Yeah, but hey, that's what makes the show interesting, is that you have different opinions. So
yeah, it'd be boring.
That's what I tell
the
them.
Same shit. I'm the same as you, Ralph. Pretty much. It's mostly my mum. Good old mama who watches my vids. But again, there's no way she'd ever watch it if I wasn't her son.
Does she watch Man, Man, Boy, Boy, Man?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's her favourite channel. She probably likes it more than anything else I've ever done. Yeah. Well, the question was from Stupid Maggot, by the way.
Okay.
Shout out to Stupid Maggot.
Shout out.
I put my parents very briefly in a video that I made on my Dark Ocean Films channel, the one from when I was much younger.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. The video's called Super Chill. Do not watch if you get nauseous while watching other people vomit. That's something that I've learned to disclaim. Because in my Saw review, I vomited on camera, and then I got a bunch of angry people saying that I made them vomit. Because I totally forgot that some people have that kind of gag reflex. And like maybe it doesn't happen if it's like a really fake movie vomit or whatever, which every movie it's like usually really fake, but it's real and you can tell it's real. So, but yeah, the end of Super Chill on my Dark Ocean Films channel with my, just that part with my parents makes the whole video.
Let's do this one then from Man of Metropolis, who says, what is the most unintentionally uncomfortable movie or TV scene that you've ever seen?
You said unintentionally earned uncomfortable?
Most unintentionally uncomfortable movie or TV scene that you've ever seen.
Oh boy, there's a lot of those. I mean, you could pick a lot of scenes from Gun Self-Defense for Women. I talked about that one.
Yeah.
Like, that's more...
Or even Cool Cat.
Yeah, that's more like concern than anything, you know?
Have you, Adam, I assume you've seen Single White Spenny, which is the spin-off show from Spencer
I might
Rice.
have tried at one point. I know that, like, pretty much everything that they've tried outside of that show has been just not great, especially Spenny's solo shit. But
yeah, that show is pretty terrible.
Yeah, when you're like embarrassed for somebody.
Yeah, well, because it's like a dating and relationship show, kind of, but it's like framed in narrative skits, and Spenny is like the handsome ladies' man. It's like, oh my fucking god, what a delusional guy.
Yeah.
So there's that element to it.
But then that helps the legitimacy of the other show.
Mm-hmm.
On that same line, though, the sex scenes in The Room are they're pretty unbearable. I hate those scenes. The rest of the film's funny. The sex scenes are pretty unwatchable. They're so uncomfortable.
they just replay the same footage. Like, was it 3 times or twice?
But didn't they shot it once, but because it was so uncomfortable, like he used all the footage from one sex scene in 2 different sex scenes,
basically.
or something like that.
I don't know. Like,
So stupid.
I might be uncomfortable too if someone was trying to fuck my belly button.
On the same line of relationships, though, Ralph's pick from the other week, Star Wars prequels. They got some pretty embarrassing, like uncomfortable, creepy love stuff with Anakin and Padme.
Yeah.
It's also some of the things that make it the funniest.
Oh God. Yeah, I guess
I have a good one.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the ones that came to mind would be like a lot of like the types of shows like Nathan For You, Borat, Bruno, but then I realized that those are intentional, I guess. So
Yeah, yeah, that's intentional.
So a Woody Allen film called Manhattan, which is a very good movie, but there's a subplot in it involving him with a 17-year-old girl and like trying to date her and like rationing out if he should have a relationship with her. And of course that's very similar to like Woody Allen's real life. And like Manhattan is a great fucking movie and it's so well written and funny, but that whole element of it kind of kills it and it makes it really hard to watch sometimes.
Yeah, I feel you.
Like I can't watch that movie with people because it's like. And like even me rewatching it now, I rewatched it recently. I'm like, Jesus, this is fucking uncomfortable.
Another good one is Blade Runner, the original.
Oh yeah,
it's a really awkward kind of sex scene with Harrison Ford's character and Rachel. Apparently the actors hated each other in real life, and so it really comes across in the sex scene. So it kind of seems like Deckard's sort of forcing himself onto her, like unintentionally. It's a really strange, weird, like romantic thing they have going on in that film.
Yeah, you could pick a lot of scenes from Megan is Missing. There's definitely a lot of uncomfortable moments there that are not necessarily meant to be. You know, they're meant to be like, oh, scary, look at what the kids are doing, but then it's like, oh, this is just more scary that what you're making them do on film and making them say. This is more just like awkward and uncomfortable. Yeah, the acting doesn't help. Weirder.
Poo on Face has a question for us.
Good name.
So that one, Poo on Face. What do you think is the worst TV show currently airing? And don't say Game of Thrones.
No.
Is the Bazinga Boy show still airing?
Oh, Big Bang Theory ended.
Yeah. Oh, it already ended?
Yeah,
I thought they were just like, we are
Yeah.
canceling it, not it's already canceled. I wouldn't know.
It didn't get canceled. They ended it because the actors make so much money per season they probably can't afford it anymore.
Yeah, but what is Jim Parsons going to do now? His life is defined by
I think he's a
Bazinga.
talented actor.
He was in a DreamWorks movie.
Yeah. He was
what
in an
winds up
HBO
happening.
movie he was pretty good in. I was going to say the show Living Biblically. Have you guys heard of this?
No, but it sounds
it's like
great.
A sitcom. It's a sitcom where this guy wants to live his life by the Bible, like 100%. That's like the premise of the show. And it's like a dumb sitcom, but it's also like encourages you to, you know, be hip and cool with faith and whatever. It's fucking awful.
Yeah.
And it's so not funny. If you looked up an ad for it, you'd probably shut it off halfway
You're so
through.
good at finding things like that. It's your weird skill.
Living Biblically.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And there's a scene he walks in with donuts. He's like, donuts in the heezy.
Oh, dear. Yikes.
Well, I was just in America, so obviously every time I'm in America, I pop on the TV and catch some good old American television, which is always very interesting to me.
Yes,
TLC, it's got a lot of bad stuff. Some of them are kind of watchable, like My 600-Pound Life, where there's like a bit of empathy for this person if they're actually trying to get their life together, but otherwise it's almost kind of like you're just promoting a freak show in a way. But
Yeah.
the ones that I had to change the channel and I was like, I can't do this, were the ones that were like glamorizing this just rich people, and that's the whole show. It's just, you know,
Like the Real Housewives of whatever.
There's a Real
I
Housewives of
fucking can't stand
Vancouver,
that stuff.
actually. There's some rich people.
Every
here.
fucking city's got Real Housewives, apparently.
Yeah.
It's so bad. And usually they have like a bunch of plastic surgery and they're so annoying and shallow and vapid. It's like, I can't stand watching these people.
I had this thought while I was there, like, if you're just really rich, you can just decide to be a celebrity. Like, I want a reality show, Kardashians. And it's like, okay. And then they get fans of people who, I guess, just want to be rich or something.
They just want something to watch. And they want to vicariously live through rich people.
Yeah. As if their lives are so interesting, other than the fact that they have so much money.
They're usually pretty, too. They're like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you can
pretty
buy
and
that.
beautiful. I get to go to the beach. But yeah, it's horseshit. I agree.
Have you guys ever heard of Jeremy Kyle?
No.
I've heard, yeah.
He's kind of has a, what would you call it? Sort of a talk show type thing.
Oh.
But instead of like celebrities coming in, it's like working class poor people. They come on and have like...
Is that like basically the Jerry Springer knockoff in Britain?
Pretty much. Like
Yeah.
he screams at people who are
That's why I
addicted
know
to
it.
drugs
Yeah.
and like, people who cheat on their partners and stuff. It was cancelled the other day because someone who'd been on the show committed suicide because of what happened on it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Most
almost
people never
seems kind of
consider that.
inevitable, you know,
Yeah.
when you're just
Yeah.
exploiting poor people with mental problems and shit. And that's the
And,
whole
yeah,
show.
drug
Like,
addiction.
Throwing them on
and stuff.
television, and you
Dr.
have an
Phil
audience
style.
cheering, like, fight,
Like-
fight.
yeah,
Like, what the fuck do you think is gonna happen?
it's really
At the Jerry Springer
unsurprising.
show, they have like a bell.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
That was that. I mean, Jerry Springer was a bit more like self-aware with what it was, but then Dr. Phil,
Yeah.
who pretends he's helping people, is just fucking disgusting.
That's the worst part.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they act
Yeah,
as
I
if
agree
they're
with
the holier than thou thing.
That shit he pulled with Shelley Duvall, that made me mad. Did you see that? Where he basically like
Yeah.
just dug her up and is like, oh, remember this woman from The Shining? Well, she's crazy now. And then just like exploited her on
That was
television. It's like, ooh, look how crazy she is, while he does this dumb concerned face. Like, I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help you understand what you need in your life, and you're gonna get help. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
on
you're
camera.
literally just exploiting.
Yeah, that's
you
insulting.
fucking
Yeah,
asshole.
yeah, she needs to see a doctor and
Yeah.
get some medication and like not go on fucking television.
Exactly.
This is not the solution.
Television is
harassed,
not going to
yeah.
help with this.
No,
Phil.
it's not. Fucking idiot.
What a piece of shit.
Yikes. There is another one. It's not nearly as bad as like Jeremy Kyle or something like that, but it's like a favorite of mine in terms of a show that I hate. 13 Reasons Why, I think is
Yeah,
quite
that's a good
also
one.
insulting show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of like a
for similar
narrative,
reasons.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not just the
Terrible.
narrative, but the fact it can't decide if it wants to be like a soap opera, overly dramatic, like just a bunch of shit, or this important, almost learning tool for like teenagers going through the, like depression and
Yeah. Horrible advice. They give horrible advice.
Yeah,
From what I've
and-
seen.
yeah, it's supposed to be about like dealing with, all the things that can lead to self-harm and thoughts of suicide, but they come at it at the worst angle possible. And they
Yeah.
like show it in explicit detail, even though they got like advice from psychologists that were like, if you're going to do this, make sure you don't explicitly show it. And they just did it anyway. and plenty of people committed suicide because of the show, which is alarming.
There was a study published on eurekalert.org from the National Institute of Mental Health, saying that the Netflix show 13 Reasons Why was associated with a 28.9% increase in suicide rates among U.S. youth ages 10 to 17.
Jesus.
In the month following the
teaching young
show's
teenagers
release.
that that's like a reasonable way to respond to like normal feelings.
Yeah,
it's
well-
such a dangerous, idiotic thing to do.
The whole
Yeah.
plot is like, oh, well, you didn't feel sorry for me before? Well, I'm going to kill myself and now you will. And she gets justified
Yeah.
by the show itself. And it paints her as this like, yeah, I'm the one in charge now. She's basically Jigsaw leaving all these tapes for everybody to find. But like it's a really bad approach in terms of like portraying how a young person could kill themselves and its effect on people's lives. Like, sure, there's elements of it where it's like, yeah, everybody's sad around her, but they build it on this idea of revenge. Like she's getting revenge by everybody being sad about it. Like you didn't listen to me before, but now you have to.
And that could encourage a young person to do
Exactly.
it.
And
like,
apparently
my
it
life
did.
sucks. I'm going to
Apparently
get
it
revenge
did.
on all these people that did it to me.
Yeah.
But that's
fucked
not
up.
how the real world works. Yeah.
It was made by adults, though, so it's just like it's so
made by
insulting
idiots.
that no one even thought about it.
There's the school shooting thing in it too, right?
Yeah,
and
that was
then
funny.
They actually tell you at the end to like walk up to the shooter and talk to him. Like, what the fuck? Don't do that.
Yeah. I was hoping for that
let
to pay
alone
off.
that, like-
Spoilers. Sorry, everybody. You got spoiled for 13
you
Reasons
shouldn't
Why
watch
season
this
2.
fucking show.
I love the kid that tried to kill himself by shooting himself in the head, but then he was fine and he just has a cane now. That was funny.
And he had amnesia. Remember that?
Yeah, the amnesia plot
Spider-Man
device.
3 amnesia.
Have you guys both seen all of it? I've seen all of it.
I've seen some of it. I saw like the 2001 A Space Odyssey scene.
Oh yeah,
really
that
good
horrible
fucking
clip.
shit.
Because I think it's really
Yeah, that's
funny.
funny.
Like I watched the first season by myself, wasn't really enjoying it, like ironically or otherwise, just because people were telling me to watch it to make a video on it, and I just wound up not bothering. And then one night, Scoot and Gael, my two commentary buddies, who are also good friends, they were just over, and I think I had to go upstairs and work or something, but they wanted to stay up, and I was like, okay. And I just like put on Netflix and started playing season 2 for them, just to kind of fuck with them. And they wound up watching it the whole night, just like shooting the shit over it. And so we all just wound up watching like the rest of season 2 together eventually, and having a really fun time just making fun of it. And I think our plan is to potentially do a commentary recording for season 3, because we're all pretty much caught up on it.
Nice.
And it's a pretty funny show.
There's a lot of Netflix shows that are good for that.
pretty
I did
bad.
Iron Fist like that. I watched Iron Fist with like friends, and we drunkenly just made fun of it the entire time. That's a bad show
Yeah.
too.
13 Reasons Why is a really
I
good
want to
show.
mention one more. Judge
riff on.
Render.
Who's that?
Have you heard of
Judge
Judge
Render.
Render? It's like a British version of Judge Judy.
Judge
And
Judy's
it's just
awesome.
This fucking guy.
I love
Yeah,
Judge
I love
Judy.
Judge Judy, but Judge Render's like the most boring, fucking charismaless guy.
I've never
It's
heard
not
of it.
offensively bad. It's just funny to see like this show just isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally it's the Americans that steal the British shows
Yeah,
and make them worse.
Yeah.
that's true.
Let's move on to one from the proud Bosnian 01, who says, "What is the movie that you dislike the most on IMDb's top 250 films list?"
All right, gonna pull this shit up, I guess. Hold up.
50 IMDb.
Oh, fuck. God damn it. Sorry. Because to find the top 250, I don't Google it. I just go to IMDb and then type a movie that I know is on the top 250. So I typed The Lion King, and the first result was the new one. And I just got upset for a second. I was like, oh,
Avengers
now I have to
Endgame is on
specify
here.
which Lion King I'm searching for. Fuck you.
That's sad.
Avengers
Yeah,
Endgame is on the top 250.
It's number 10 as well at 250.
That's nuts.
Yeah. I'm
As of
looking.
now, I'd say that's the worst one. I'm trying to find more.
I mean, it shows my ratings on here too. Pretty much any Bollywood movie are the ones that I rate the lowest on the top 250, because the Bollywood films suffer from the exact same fan ratings issues on IMDb as like any superhero big fan movie does. Just a lot of Bollywood movies will get rated to the top. And I don't even know if it's just that Indian people love them so much and there's so many of them that they get voted to the top, or because India is a place where you can buy factories of people that will just click on a button for you for really cheap and artificially promote your product.
I don't know if it's that. I think
exactly. I don't know either. All I know is I watch these movies and they fucking suck.
Green Book's on there.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot of Marvel stuff on here. Both the Avengers are on here, Infinity War and Endgame. I would say those are the worst ones on here. I don't think those are bad movies.
Yeah.
It's just not like the 10th best film ever made.
Yeah. Green Book, is bad.
Yeah, I was just going through the ones I've rated. I'm sure there's some on here that I'm not even interested in seeing, but who knows?
Yeah.
So Letterboxd has their own version of this, right?
Yeah, they do.
Somebody
I
posted
think
on the
theirs is slightly
subreddit
better.
saying that Jean Dielman went down quite a few spots after our video, and I was actually paying attention to the IMDb before I had recommended it, it was like an 8.0. Now it's like a 7.9 or something. So
Oh, no.
I guess most of
Really?
the audience didn't love it as much as I did.
Yeah,
Oops.
that's fair.
I get fed up of all the Pixar movies being on there. It's just if
Yep.
Pixar's on the 10, then it just gets in
Yeah.
the top 250.
Inside Out.
Coco's the highest one, weirdly.
Oh, really? That's weird,
Yeah.
but whatever.
I would have thought it'd be Toy Story or something, but
Ratatouille's not even on here. What the fuck?
It's one of the best ones. Up is on there. Guardians of the Galaxy's on here. Harry Potter and the
Hacksaw
Deathly
Ridge?
Hallows Part 2? No.
Yeah, Hacksaw Ridge wasn't good. That's for sure.
Yeah,
In my
Hacksaw
opinion.
Ridge, no.
they kind of all fit into a similar bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what
It's kind
happens.
of obvious what
I
kind of
don't
movies.
I don't like Platoon all that much, but I
haven't seen it
understand why
yet.
it's on here. We can watch Platoon one day. And then, of course, Barry Lyndon's like 229. It's one of the
It'll
best
be off
films of all
there
time.
by the decade, like the next decade, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse with, like, new superhero movie, and everybody rates it a 10.
Just event movies.
yeah, like,
Pirates of the Caribbean's on
perhaps
here.
even before they've seen it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The IMDb Top 250 wasn't bad pre-2008, you know. IMDb's
Yeah,
been
I remember it being
around for a
alright.
long time. We wrecked
It's
it.
still used by all the industry people, for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like
yeah.
the professionals there. They all pay attention to their star meter and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it is the most popular movie database website, even if
Yeah.
they do have a lot
Yeah.
of issues with their user interface.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just the user interface and the forums of like Letterboxd are so much better. So everyone's kind of moved there.
You know what the biggest issue I have with IMDb is? Despite their shitty user
What?
interface, which is a big issue, if you click on a trailer for the film, much of the time you have to watch an ad before the trailer, but the
Yeah.
trailer
Yeah.
is an ad. It's an ad for the.
Right.
Why
Yeah.
are you showing me an ad to watch an ad? And usually, a lot of the times, the ad is another trailer. But it's like I wanted to watch this trailer. But if let's say I wanted to watch the trailer that you gave me an ad to watch, the trailer ad, if I wanted to watch that intentionally, then you put another ad of something else I don't want to see in front of it. There's no
Exactly. It
winning.
makes no sense. I've always had
Yeah.
that issue with it too.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I just close it and go to YouTube.
Exactly.
Makes it pointless.
Yeah, you're better off.
Okay, let's do one from Elmer99, who says, "What do movies get wrong that bothers the shit out of you? For me, it's gun terminology, people
Yeah.
getting blown away by one shot, etc."
That's something I liked about the new John Wick. They
Mm-hmm.
they know what guns are, they know how to use them, and they know how to put them together.
Yeah.
And that was very nice. I appreciate actors like Keanu Reeves who actually have like training in that kind of stuff, and you can tell they actually know how to shoot a gun and hold it. Whereas you see like police officer extras in movies, and they clearly have never held a gun in their life.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
look like they can't fucking take on like a kid.
Sometimes it's super
So
obvious.
I appreciate that.
Other times, I mean, like, I'm not a gun expert. I'm not American. But I feel like if I were to make a film and there would be guns in the film, I would probably want to hire some sort of consultant, you know, just somebody who has like some military experience just to be like, hey, is this how it works? Otherwise, the ones that are really noticeable for me, I guess, in that same vein are just like the way people die. You know, I might not know how many bullets are in each specific weapon, but I know for a fact that people don't die the way that they die in movies. You know, if somebody really
Arms
gets
up in the
shot,
air. Ah!
if somebody gets shot and
Stabbed
they
in the
die,
stomach.
like they fall over, they become literally just a rag doll. It's just like, like they just collapse, right?
Yeah.
There's none of this like, like fly backwards. I guess depending on the kind of gun, but there's none of this usually over dramatized. Like, oh wow, I just shot. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or like
really
blood
depends.
as well, and the way blood
Yeah,
kind of
the way it's
explodes out of the
used.
body and stuff.
Yeah, there's some directors that do it really well. Obviously,
Oh yeah.
gonna pimp out my boy Hanky Chan again. But yeah, there was a film of his, and I'm not even gonna say which film because it's kind of a spoiler because it happens at the end. But there's a film of his where it's like when people get shot in that movie, it's like holy shit. It's like you're watching security camera footage on the Watch People Die subreddit. Rest in peace.
Yeah. There's even
Damn.
like a throat slit in one of his films, and that was super realistic.
Yeah, without saying which film.
That was fucking crazy. When that happened, that's like the most shocking. That's one of the most shocking
Yeah.
things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. The guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah. It depends how, like, some movies obviously are they're more over the top and they want to show violence in a more cartoony way. That's fine. Like Scorsese and Tarantino do that.
Exactly.
But if you're presenting it realistically, I want people to die realistically, and I want guns to work how guns in real life work.
Like when you're supposed to be getting some sort of emotional impact from the scene, you want it to be real. You want it to be like disturbing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it doesn't work.
That, and then the way people talk and interact with each other, I guess, when it's just so clear it's
just
a plot device or exposition, and it's like nobody talks like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thunder and lightning, they're always in sync in movies. I complain about this all the time. They shouldn't. They shouldn't be. Vomit, you said. Vomit always looks fake in movies.
Yeah, just
it
feed them some
fake.
Epicac.
It's always whatever they could fit in their mouth, and they just spit it out.
Yeah.
It looks like shit.
Make them sick.
I appreciate, like, when filmmakers do the hose method. Like, Limitless did that, where he's vomiting, and it's like, it goes on for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are funny.
Mm-hmm.
Team America.
Oh, what about when people pretend to drink out of a mug? And it's really obvious that there's no liquid in their mug?
Yeah.
That's quite irritating.
Yeah, there's a billion of these, honestly. There's so many things that where it's just the typical movie way of presenting it is like just so standardized at this point where like there aren't enough people that get upset about it for them to do anything different. There's too many of
it's just that thing, once you know it and know what to look for, then you just can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you hear the same door creaking sound effect in every movie? I feel like I hear the exact same
door
fucking
closing,
door
opening,
creaking sound effect in every fucking movie.
Or
Yeah.
alarms and stuff. They're normally like a stock sound effect too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We probably just know them more though because we're always editing video and using sound effects, so we're just more intimately familiar with them, so we notice that kind of garbage.
Yeah, that too.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do this one. A nice simple one from Boya Voya. I would like to hear your thoughts on 3D. What's a film that looks epic in 3D or you wish was converted in 3D? Or do you think 3D is a gimmick that serves no artistic value?
Well, if it's used by the filmmaker for a purpose, then it's not a gimmick. Like Life of Pi or Avatar. I think those are very good 3D movies. Hugo. But yeah, most movies fucking use it because they can charge more for the ticket. Like Clash of the Titans and every Marvel movie. Like fucking Thor was in 3D and that looked awful. It was so dark because of the glasses. You couldn't fucking see what was happening.
Yeah, those films were actually ruined by it.
Not only can you charge more for the ticket, but if somebody sneaks into the theater with a camera, it looks like shit for the torrented copy.
Yeah.
So that's probably a big reason.
And you have to buy the stupid glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like theater 3D is bullshit because like the technology has surpassed that to the point where like if you have a good 3D setup in your home and you're using active glasses, not passive, so basically you charge the glasses and it's doing basically the illusion is so much better. And like you could even move your head a little to the side and get like a weird kind of perspective thing going on. I was really impressed at a point in time when 3D was kind of a fad, but like they were starting to do some 3D games. So like Killzone 3, Uncharted 3, like those were really impressive.
And Crysis 3,
but unfortunately,
I liked video games being 3D.
Yeah.
I
mean, now we just have like virtual
3D,
reality.
You have to have the 3D in mind. Like some of these movies are edited in a way that are very confusing to your brain when it's in 3D. Because there's only so much info you can process in that way when you're watching 3D.
Yeah. See, as much as if you have a movie in 3D, it's kind of preferred that they had it with that in mind, and you listed, Avatar. But at the same time, I don't like watching a movie where you can tell that a shot only exists because they knew it was 3D, like something will fly at the camera or something. I feel like those moments are really cheesy.
It's very distracting.
It's like, it's because it's a 3D movie.
Yeah. That's true. But like there's filmmakers who take advantage of the depth of it. Like Life of Pi, you have this empty sea and this one boat. Like in 3D that looks fucking great. Where you don't need like a yo-yo flying at the screen. Like Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's like ridiculous. You're right.
Unfortunately, it's just too impractical at this point for the average person, especially for like a home thing. Like I bought a bunch of 3D glasses. I did a couple movie nights of just dumb 3D movies like the Saw 3D and like Jupiter Ascending and just things that are funnier because you're wearing dumb glasses watching them. Yeah. But now it's like, I don't know. I just prefer 4K. I would just like the image to look nicer. I don't really give a shit about the 3D part.
Yeah.
So
most people don't care.
Yeah. It's really not something that benefits the film. The best example I could give of a movie where it's like you're watching a completely different movie in 3D than the 2D release, like literally, is Jean-Luc Godard's Goodbye to Language from 2014, which it's got some issues. It's not for everybody. It's really weird. It's also a very short commitment. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long. But like the way that 3D was used in that film, very, very experimental, very, very cool. And it's something where like you haven't seen the movie unless you've seen it in 3D. I would not recommend anybody see it not in 3D. There's parts where like there's two separate images happening in each eye, kind of. They'll like
that's interesting.
Connect at a certain point. Basically, he just dicked around and had so many different weird cameras being set up. Like he at certain points in the film, he's using like a shitty digital like Sony click camera or whatever that can take video, and he's had it set up on a tripod in a way where there's just like two of them. But it's really weird seeing like genuine, not post 3D on something with that kind of camera quality too. Like the whole thing is just this big experimental 3D movie, and otherwise there isn't that much of a point to it. But yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay, I'm totally gonna watch that one.
I guess I have one, and you're gonna laugh, but DreamWorks movies, they're the best. They nailed the 3D like tech, but as far as like How to Train Your Dragon and Kung Fu Panda, they designed those movies and storyboarded those movies around that technology. I saw one of the How to Train Your Dragon movies in IMAX 3D, and it was breathtaking. Like it really like shows how they thought about like every single shot, and it adds so much depth to.
Cool.
That was an actually impressive one. Whereas when I saw Captain Marvel, it was in a day where I was trying to catch two movies, so I had to see it in IMAX 3D to be able to watch it, and it did nothing for the movie. Didn't improve it at all. It was just a waste of money.
Most of the time, you just forget it's there.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, I paid extra money for this.
Exactly. Yeah, those DreamWorks movies are the only times I've really appreciated it specifically.
Yeah, I remember the fight scene in Kung Fu Panda, or like the escape scene with Tai Lung or whatever, and it's so well shot in terms of just like the camera movements and everything going on, and I can totally see how that would be a better experience in 3D, and yet at the same time it doesn't feel like what I mentioned earlier where it's like, oh, something's coming at the camera and you can tell even if you're not watching in 3D sort of thing.
For sure.
Yeah, I like Kung Fu Panda.
I agree. I do too.
I like
a lot of those DreamWorks movies.
Yeah. Alex, you're the biggest DreamWorks fan there is.
Yeah, I'm the number one fan. I've seen them all. I know the order, the tier list.
You saw all the Madagascar movies in 3D.
Yep, 5 times.
So you can see their butts in 3D. So that's the whole movie. They like, they like to move it. Chunky.
Oh, God. Really makes my day hearing this.
Yeah.
It all comes back to Madagascar in the end.
Go on, recommend a movie, somebody.
Sure. I think it's my turn, right?
I think so.
Double check.
Yeah, I believe so. Because last time was Adam. So yeah, it's me. So I'm going to recommend a film from 1971. This is another film from George Lucas, believe it or not. Except I think this one's fucking awesome. Okay. It's called THX 1138.
That's what I thought it was.
So we're going to see George Lucas in his prime, everybody.
All right.
Let's do it.
Cool. I'm excited.
That's awesome.
Robert Duvall.
My plan is
I've had this on my watch list for a while. Interesting. 6.8 rating on IMDb.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Rated R.
He also has a short film he made in college called THX 1138. If you want to see that. You don't have to. But
yeah, I'm wondering if I've ever seen a rated R George Lucas film. This might be the first for me.
You're about to find out. Okay, well, enjoy it, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Sardonicast. If you want to support the show, $2 a month on sardonicast.com. Sign up for premium. You get these episodes early. Also, patreon.com/sardonicast. Same thing. If you don't want to be spoiled for THX 1138 by George Lucas, then watch it before the next episode comes out in a couple weeks. And we'll spoil it then, because we'll be discussing it. All right. I'm very tired.
Me too.
I'm
I gotta
gonna
get
keep
back to
going.
editing
Some
Game
rest,
of
man.
Thrones. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
It might be a good idea for me to fall asleep in the middle of the day, and then I'll be on the right schedule for France.
Just fall
That's
asleep
true,
right
yeah.
now.
I could. I
Yeah,
might do
just-
that.
Record your sleep.
I'll edit this later. All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for
Bye-bye.
listening.
Frittata.
Skadoosh.